Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish. There you go. Oh, by the way, new soft teas as well. Got like three different ones. There's one that's like Kelly green, this one, and then there's like a charcoal gray one with the Parish logo right here. Really good, dude. Love it. Our merch game is coming strong right now. Okay, y'all. What's up? Good morning. Glad to have you aboard with us here. LSU got a huge transfer portal pitcher commit on Friday night. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Let's see. Boom. All right, good. Okay, and I don't think I know. We have also fixed the I have recognized what the issue has been with Facebook. So again, weird for those who are Facebook viewers, thank you. But I'm trialing for a couple of weeks going live from my profile instead of my page. So I have my professional page and then I have my personal profile. Well, you can go like the profile and follow there. Long story short, Facebook has changed its monetization and sharing policies. I think it's going to be more beneficial on the profile. I'm going to try it for about 2 weeks and we'll see how it goes. So if you've been following on Facebook on the page, make sure you go like my profile. It's the profile is the picture of me and Erica in New York is my profile picture. I'm going to keep sharing Morning Scone to my page, but for everybody who set notifications on Facebook, make sure you're following the profile as well. I know that's confusing, so I apologize. And to everyone on YouTube, good morning. I also have fantastic news. I'm going to wait here a second because I want to let the audience build. But I think I have figured out how to get you all to hear the Parish jingle and all other music and sound clearly. I think I figured it out. So let me talk about the big story of the day real quick. We'll say our good mornings, and then I'll get to that. So, of course, the big story, LSU has landed pitcher Devin Sheeran. So Devin Sheeran from Mount St. Mary's, which may not sound like an awful lot, but this is a guy who from the end of his high school career to, I was looking at his perfect game profile when he was about 6'2". Well, now he's 6'5", 245. Joe Doyle, who is a major league scout. You see a lot of his stuff on social media. He's with, I'll tell you the organization real quick. Joe Doyle is, FSS plus. So it's like it's a baseball analytics deal. And so he consults for MLB. Anyway, Joe Doyle, this is the write-up Joe Doyle had on Twitter. Mount St. Mary's right-handed pitcher Devin Sheeran is an LSU Tiger, projects immediately into their 2025 rotation up to 98. Slider is disgusting. My number 8 overall non-draft eligible portal prospect. He is a huge impact get for Jay Johnson and the Tigers. Number 8 overall portal prospect that's not draft eligible. So Jay Johnson and the crew doing work. I guess I can say this now, and I don't think that, this LSU and staff wanted all this out, but I kind of hinted at it if you've been here for different shows throughout the week. Huge recruiting weekend for LSU, and I was told there's 4 guys on campus. One of them is Gavin Killen, the shortstop from Louisville. One of them is Zach Root, the lefty from East Carolina. I was told it was Killen and 3 pitchers, one of them being Zach Root. And clearly, Devin Sheeran is one of the other pitchers that's on campus this weekend, and he committed Friday night. So when you start to look at, so this is a replacement for Cam Johnson. I mean, now Cam Johnson is, so they're same class. Both are big power pitchers. Now Cam's from the left side and Sheeran's from the right side. Now Cam had it coming out of high school, and Sheeran clearly developed it this year at Mount St. Mary's. And it is fair to say, well, he was in the Mid-Atlantic and he wasn't in the SEC or whatever, but he struck out 109 hitters in 70 innings of work. So You got a big power arm with really good strikeout stuff who is a guy that you would project into the rotation for LSU next year, and we'll see how it all works out. So, and the other thing, too, is the walks number is only 109 strikeouts, 32 walks. So, if you're following at home, you've gotten Zach Cohen from Wofford, and now you've got Devin Sheeran from Mount St. Mary's. So, two pitchers that you would assume in losing Jump and Holman, right, and Hurd. That's two experienced starters right there that immediately factor into the mix, along with Chase Shores, Kate Anderson, Griffin Herring, provided he's back, which, if he is. And then, obviously, if they can get Zach Root, the lefty from East Carolina, you absolutely take that commitment. And then there's also Myers, the pitcher from Jacob Myers, who we talked about. I think we talked about Jacob Myers yesterday. Or did Myers go into the portal? I can't remember if we talked about Jacob Myers yesterday. You know what? My apologies if we did. Anyway, if you don't know, he's a kid from Sanama, who wasn't much of a prospect throughout his high school career. Started to pop his senior year, went to Nichols, and last year was a freshman All-American. Huge strikeout stuff. The problem is the walks. He led the country in walks this year. Myers did, but Myers hit the portal, and that's a guy who very much is on LSU's radar as well. So here we go, man. LSU and Jay Johnson doing work, getting pitching, and I think we all realize, we thought coming into this past season that they'd lead with pitching while the offense caught up, right? And unfortunately, the pitching didn't really do the job until really the last 6 weeks or so of the season that they really started to get. But it was a struggle to get to that point, and so Jay's trying to fix that in a hurry. Okay, all right. Let's say some good mornings. Thanks for being there as always. YouTube, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. All right, glad we got some Facebook comments coming in. I see that, which is good to see. Let's say some good mornings. Gary, good morning. We seem to be getting pitchers. What about hitters? Well, first of all, let's be excited about the really. That's like you give a mouse a cookie, what's a glass of milk? But Gary, I get the question. So and you do very likely have to replace your entire infield except for Steven Milam, right? So I do understand that. You've got Luis Hernandez committed from Indiana State, who's a first baseman, catcher, DH, power bat. That's great news. Again, you've got Gavin Killen on campus this weekend, and that would be major. Like if LSU comes out of this weekend with a commitment from Gavin Killen, that's the number one player in the portal. And that would be massive. That's your starting shortstop. Milam stays at second. Maybe Kucherak plays third, or you go in the portal for a third baseman. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention at all, but Blaze Priester just keeps getting accolades. And the more people I talk to, the more it seems like he's going to show up on campus. Again, Priester is and I think if Priester shows up on campus, that he is your primary catcher next year, even if Brady Neal is back. Priester's a JUCO All-American. He's on the National JUCO Collegiate USA team. He's a guy that can hit for average, for power, and he's a better defensive catcher than Neal. So Priester showing up on campus would be huge. You've also got Cade Arambidi, who's one of the top catching prospects in the country. He's a high schooler who signed with LSU, and we'll have to sweat him out in the draft and see what he does. But huge opportunity for LSU here. So it's coming. Just be patient. Robbie said, Gary, can we enjoy the pitchers for 1 second? Jacob, good morning. Kobe, what a game last night. I saw Tennessee rallied with 4 in the ninth, but y'all, this is the problem with Tennessee. Tennessee can hit. We all know they can hit. The problem is, like, they don't really have a 1-2 punch on the mound. That's going to cost them, especially if they lose the winner's bracket game, which I hope they do. They're not coming out of a loser's bracket. They would their path is just slugging their way through Omaha. And look, they were down. They needed 4 in the ninth to win yesterday against Florida State. So I don't see their path. I don't see their path through. Brett DeGrow, good morning. Oh, there's me. I was trying to tell you all the software was taking a while to get going. Trivia Carter, good morning. Jerry G. He said blow out the cartridge. Old school Nintendo people know exactly that reference. Jerry just celebrated my 40th birthday on Friday. All right, Jerry, hope it was a great one, man. Cheers to you. Happy birthday. Cheers to 40 and many, many more. Just keeps getting better, man. Hope you had a great celebration last night, man. Happy birthday. Robert, hope the trip went well. It did. Thank you for asking, Robert. Yeah, so we were in Jacksonville, not Jacksonville. I'm sorry, Pensacola. So we darted over Thursday, stayed the night Thursday, and then woke up Friday morning, went over to cardiology, had a good appointment with Dr. Brumman there. I've told y'all status quo is a good thing in our world, where we don't expect one day to go to the doctor and Drew's heart magically to be healed. He had 2 heart surgeries while we were at Texas Children's when he was a baby. When he was born, he had 5 surgeries while we were there. I had 3 in his first 5 days of life, and then that was in July. And then when he was born of 2014, and then in November is when he had his 2 heart surgeries. But we know that was just a patch effectively, and Drew's issue wasn't resolved. The question or our objective, I'm just trying to make this as simplistic as possible, is wait as long as you can, just treating him medically, medicine and supplements and all that stuff, to let him keep growing as big and strong as he possibly can, so he's in a much better place if and when he ever needs another surgery. Because if he needs another surgery, it's probably going to involve a valve replacement, which the problem with a valve replacement, especially with a kiddo that size, is your body's going to keep growing. And if you put an artificial valve in, then every time you outgrow the valve, you have to keep replacing it. So the hope is let him get as big as he possibly can, so that if you do end up having to put an artificial valve in, he can rock with that artificial valve maybe forever. So, and who knows where science will go in medicine. So every time we go to the doctor and it's just like, hey, status quo, keep doing what you're doing. See you in 6 months. That's a huge win. So anyways, yes, great visit yesterday. Cody, you can get anything to work if you hit it hard enough, man. Chance, depressing hearing Ben McDonald call a World Series game without LSU in it. Ben's great though, man, but I hear you. It's just disappointing that LSU isn't there, and especially considering. And how about North Carolina, y'all? They got another walk-off win. That was my point. Like, I picked Carolina. Someone asked me, I think I'm definitely cheering against the SEC teams. A&M would have been my pick, but without Shane Sadeo, without Braden Montgomery, I mean, you're down your number 2 starter and your best player. It's hard to imagine making it through this field. Like, imagine if LSU last year didn't have Dylan Cruz and Ty Floyd. That's kind of the comp of A&M this year, losing those 2 guys in supers. So sometimes it's just your time, and I think for North Carolina it could just be their time, and I think they have the team to do it. So Shelby, good morning. Highlights of Sheeran or Nasty, 98-mile-an-hour 2-seamer, elite stuff. What's the story on him? Yeah, so again, I can't say I know a ton about him, except that, if I was looking up his perfect game profile yesterday, and he was check this out. This was the interesting thing. So again, he's just finished his freshman year. So he was not ranked nationally, and he was a third baseman coming out of Reading, Pennsylvania. And he was 6'2", 200 pounds. So this kind of tells you the story. So he was a third baseman at 6'2", 200 pounds, unranked out of Reading, Pennsylvania. He goes to Mount St. Mary's, and now he's 6'5", 245, throwing 98. So clearly he hit a big growth spurt. They put him on the bump, and kaboom, right? He strikes out 100. And what was the number? Strikes out 100 and was it 120 and 109 strikeouts in 70 innings of work. I mean, shoosh. It's a strikeout. It's a strikeout and a half per inning pitched. Now I get it. It's at Mount St. Mary's. It's in the MAAC. It's not the same as the SEC. So let's see how that transition goes. But when scouts say that's a quote disgusting. I told you it was Joe Doyle. I'll read this. He said up to 98 slider is disgusting. That's not me saying it. That's a guy. That's a baseball scout analytics guy. So disgusting slider throwing 98. That make you pretty good. I mean, think about Griffin Herring, who throws 95 495 with a really good slider, how tough he is. Now throw 98 with a disgusting slider. Like it. Damon, good morning. Strong side, good morning. How was Drew's doctor visit? Just went over that. Thank you so much for asking, man. I appreciate everybody's well wishes and prayers. Jesse, what do you think happens in the Kamara contract situation? Does he get a new contract? Y'all, I can't wait to get back on air on Monday so I can talk about this and go like deep on the record on it. For the life of me, listen, I love Alvin Kamara, and I know someone asked about this yesterday, and so I talked briefly about it. So Kamara, when the Saints extended him, they gave him a 5-year, $75 million deal. Okay. And the Saints this year are on the hook. The cap hit $7.9 million, and they have an out after this year. So no, I'm sorry. Forgive me. The number this year is 18.5. Okay. And next year, his cap hit after their restructure goes up to 29 million with a dead number of 10.1. So basically, to say it as simply as possible, it doesn't do you any good to move on from the dead number this year is the same number as his cap hit. So Kamara's on your team this year no matter what. Next year, his number, if he's on your roster, it's 29 million. If he's not, it's 10 million. So if you cut or trade Alvin Kamara after this season, you save $19 million. So you have to decide you want to extend Alvin Kamara. And Kamara obviously doesn't want to go into a contract year. He doesn't want to go into this year without long-term stability, because what happens if he gets hurt or doesn't have a great year? Well, you don't want a down year and a contract year, which I totally understand from Kamara's perspective. But if you're the Saints, this is a declining player. Over the last 3 years, Alvin Kamara's numbers have dropped, and he's been injury prone, and he's 29. Like, you would be certifiably insane in the NFL in 2024 to extend a declining running back at 29 years old. Like, no, you're going to play this year on the final year of your contract and then assess after the season. Like, it's the prudent thing to do. You don't get a new contract because of what you were. You get a contract in the future about what you're projected to be. So, no, you do not extend Alvin Kamara. And I love Alvin Kamara, and he's going to be in the Saints Hall of Fame, and he's the most dynamic, electric player the Saints have ever had. He leads the organization in career touchdowns. He's awesome, and I love him, and it's been a joy watching him play. But you also have to be realistic. Like, that would be the kind of deal that's put the Saints in their awful cap situation year after year after year. No, you do not extend Alvin Kamara right now. Larry Garner, Jerry G, sorry I didn't come in Friday on both platforms to announce it, but better late than never. All good, Jerry. Happy birthday, man. Go big. What's up? Guy Brooks, good Saturday morning. Hope all went well with the appointment. It did. Bob Collins, good morning. Do you think LSU baseball or football is in a better place for the next 5 years, and why? Good question. They're just so different. It's hard to say apples to apples. I would probably say baseball because Jay's a younger coach, and you have certainly the resources to win. You've won a national title more recently in baseball. You know, football, the SEC is a grind in baseball, but look, 4 teams made it to Omaha, and Georgia was a national seed, was 1 win away from getting there and making it 5. So I don't know that you're going to have 5 teams from the SEC. I don't think you'll ever have 5 teams from the SEC in the college football playoff. So I think it's harder to get through the grind of the SEC in football, but I think both are in a great situation. Good question. Murder Giraffe, what's going on? Hollis Aarons, why are Tennessee fans so insufferable? Because they've never won anything. And when you've never won anything and you pound your chest like you have won something, it's like, go sit down. Cajun Country, good morning. Picture of Drew and his doctor on Facebook needs to go on your wall. Almost started crying. He loves, the one walking down the hallway. Yeah, man. So Drew loves Dr. Drummond. Drew does very well with schedules. Like, he needs to know his daily schedule. He needs sequence. He needs order. And so he knows that he doesn't get to see Dr. Drummond all the time. And so we go every 6 months. So we have a countdown that will be like 30 Mondays. We'll just say Monday because it's whatever day. We'll say like in 30 Mondays, and then every Monday he'll tick down in 29 Mondays. And it's so funny. Drew's a chatterbox, man. Like, Drew just sits there and talks to himself all day long. He repeats things he sees on YouTube and the iPad or what he hears us say. He talks and talks and talks all day long. And it's not annoying. It's just his sweet little voice. And he just talks. Dr. Brumman comes to the room and it's just like, he's just staring at him. Just doesn't say a word. He's like, almost like he's starstruck. It's kind of hilarious to see. That's a big boy. Stick him in the tight end room. Peter, good morning. Hey, Brant, no, it's impossible to answer this question. With the rest of the SEC teams losing their best players, the playing field should favor LSU next season, maybe and back to Omaha. Yeah, Brant, it's impossible to answer because the portal factors in everywhere, right? I mean, look at LSU this year. You lost 7 of your everyday players, only returning Tommy White, and you were a blown save in the 9th inning away from hosting a super regional, and you're probably back in Omaha. So it's so hard to project for next year until the portal window closes and you see, and then the draft passes and you know who's here, right? It matters. Like, how different is LSU offensively if Bear Jones returns? You know what I mean? Gary, keep doing it, Jay and staff. We will be back. Y'all, big recruiting weekend. I'm just telling you. They got Gavin Killen and 3 pitchers on campus. One of them, Zach Root, and the other one is Devin Sheeran. One of them is Devin Sheeran, who already committed. So that's why I say, man, look, early next week, you'll have good news. Like, if LSU gets a commitment from Gavin Killen this weekend, we'll see what Zach Root decides to do. But you could be coming out of this weekend feeling really, really good about next year. Rambo, so is the defensive line from St. Aug really reclassifying? You're asking the wrong guy, man. Jakeem Stewart is who he's talking about, by the way. So in 2026, he was the number 1 player. He's now the number 3 player nationally for 2026. There's a ton of dudes from Baton Rouge. Like, so Jakeem Stewart is number 3 this is overall in the country, not position. This is for the class of 2026. So these are guys who are going into their junior year of high school. So Jakeem Stewart, defensive lineman from Aug, is number 3 in the country. Lamar Brown, who's an offensive lineman from U High, is number 6 in the country. And then Blaine Bradford from Catholic was top 10. Where's Blaine? Blaine's now number 15 in the country. And that's it. Blaine Bradford was injured and missed last year. So if he gets healthy this year, he'll move back up the rankings. So you have 3 players in the top 15 in the country from within two in Baton Rouge and 1 in New Orleans at St. Aug, which, of course, with Frank Wilson, has got a pipeline there. I don't know if Jakeem Stewart is reclassifying. I hadn't heard that, but then again, but I'm not the guy to ask. So if he does, all right, here's a report from On3 that he strongly considered reclassifying. That was back in April. So we'll see. I'll ask Shea Dixon on Tuesday when we have a chance to talk to him. Ryan Pike, so Kentucky -1.5, over under 9.5. It's at 9.5. Small makes over. I'll tell y'all that I was not on with Mintz and Musso on Thursday, obviously, to get my picks, but I did like the under and North Carolina were 2 of my plays, and both of those hit. And the third was going to be Tennessee on the money line, which was close but hit. Today, I'd go under in Florida, Texas A&M. It's 10.5. I'd go under. And 160 is a big price to pay on A&M, but I'd probably lay it. I'd take I wouldn't touch Kentucky, NC State. That's just me. But I like the under in Florida, Texas A&M. And 160 is a big price if you don't want to pay it. But the one I like the best would be A&M, would be under 10.5. Ryan Prager is going for A&M today. Florida, for a bulk of this season, couldn't hit. I know their offense has gotten going, but you're going to go face an ace like Ryan Prager. I think Prager really handcuffs Florida in this ball game. And A&M without Braden Montgomery as the table setter offensively, that offense might struggle a bit. I'd take the under. That would be my best play. Would be under 10.5 with A&M in Florida. Let's see. Shelby, what happened with Camden Wicker? Good question, Shelby. Because that's obviously the name that I had heard. I know Hanny had mentioned Camden Wicker on his show. D1 Baseball had put it out there. I think that all those guys just had the wrong Wofford pitcher. I think it was Zach Cohen, and everybody just had the wrong Wofford pitcher. So anyway, so Camden Wicker still uncommitted. And I said on AFR, to whatever extent I played in that confusion, I apologize. Again, y'all, if you were here, I was live on the show and I got a text and I just read the text on Morning Scone, and I should have waited. I should have edited it more, like made a call just to make sure. But I was live on Morning Scone, and I'll put it to you this way. It was the same source that gave me the exact regional draw that LSU had. If y'all were here and I told you, I was told LSU was going to play Wofford in a 2-3 matchup in the Chapel Hill regional paired with Tucson. The same person that gave me that is the one who texted me about Wicker. Just, again, it was just the wrong Wofford pitcher. But anyway, so Wicker just is still uncommitted. Irfan Sayyad, Deborah Coward, good morning. Missed watching live this week. Helped with Vacation Bible School. So excited to see how many of the transfers will show up on campus. Yeah, Deborah, well, like, for example, Zach Cohen, Devin Sheeran, these guys are underclassmen. So they're not draft eligible. So they will be here. And Devin Sheeran's got 2 more years on campus. So that's the good thing. You could tell him, too, hey, look, even if you come here in 2025 and you don't win a rotation job, you can give us length, in the middle innings. And then in 2026, potentially be, a weekend or a Friday night guy even. So you got 2 years there. Zach Cohen, you got 1 more year with him, or potentially 2 if he stays for a senior year. The one you're sweating right now is Luis Hernandez, but I've been told they kind of feel at 70-30 he'll end up. That's the slugger from Indiana State. 70-30 he ends up on campus. Kelly Gross, good morning. Bruce, good morning. May sound crazy. Is there an argument that Jay is the best recruiter on campus? I don't think that's crazy. I think that is the case. And it's because it's just, he's maniacal in the effort. Like, when LSU lost to North Carolina, I was like 5 of the next 6 days he was in a different city. I mean, he just immediately, boom, there is no decompression. There is no downtime. It's just go. And that's the only speed he knows, man. I know we've talked about it before, but, Jay doesn't have children. His wife, Maureen, is an awesome support system as well. So Maureen worked, I think we've talked about this. Maureen worked at Oklahoma in the football office under Bob Stoops. So she gets like big time athletics expectations. Like, she's all in on that as well. So they're a great team kind of supporting each other in that respect, where this is like, I don't mean to say it like this, like it's like their baby, their child. I don't mean to say it that way because that's the wrong way to say it. But I think you understand. It's a mutually agreed upon priority, right? Does that make sense? So yeah, I mean, I absolutely think I think he is the best recruiter on campus. Hey, Dad, good morning. Jerry, good morning. Gary, good morning. Zachary, options at pitcher will be crazy. Yeah, and they ain't done. Aaron Fontaine, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Listen to Scone while putting up a new fence. All right, Aaron. Whew, God bless you, man. Mark, good morning. Who are the guys you said were on campus? So, again, I was told they're Gavin Killen, the shortstop from Louisville, and 3 pitchers. Well, clearly one of them is Devin Sheeran. He put the photos out there of his commitment. Zach Root, the lefty from East Carolina, who's kind of the consensus number 1 pitching prospect in the portal, is on campus this weekend as well. And, well, let me say this. Was supposed to be on campus this weekend. I was out of town. I haven't confirmed with anybody that he's physically here, but I would assume so. I don't know why you canceled that visit. I think if he had, we'd know. And then I don't know who the 3rd pitcher is, but I was told it's 3 pitchers and Gavin Killen, the shortstop from Louisville. And clearly one of the pitchers was Zach Root and the other was Devin Sheeran. I don't know who the 3rd is. Justin Hosky, Austin Kidder, good morning. Justin Franks, Jay's going to give Ryan Kucherak a chance to start somewhere in the infield. They had to have that convo the last few weeks. He was highly recruited. Yeah, and look, there were times, if you remember, when Braswell was struggling, that they gave Kucherak a run at short. So I think Kucherak could have the opportunity to win the job at third base if you get Gavin Killen. If you don't get Gavin Killen, then I think Kucherak and Milam are both competing for the shortstop job, and whoever loses that probably kicks over and plays second, and you go get another infielder out of the portal. Wendell Norman, Kirk Taylor. North Carolina has a horseshoe up their butt, or maybe it's their time. Like maybe they're a clutch team, Kirk. Like I don't know that I would say horseshoe as much as I would say when they're up against it, they're unmoved by that. So, I mean, tomato. I don't know. That's probably not the right way to say it. Rocky, morning, Matt. I hope you guys a great trip with better results for Drew. We did. Thank you, Rocky. Gary, hooray for Drew. Jerry, how does Virginia pitch to Honeycutt with a runner on third, 2 outs, first base open, bottom of the ninth? Gorilla, what's going on? Kevin Toller, hey, my friend. What up, Kevin? Glad Drew had a great checkup. Any new bourbon in the collection? Have you had Rio? I've not had Rio. And new bourbon. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, my buddy Rooney over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, did get me a Whistle Pig summer stock, which I drank on Nightcap a couple of weeks ago, which was a fantastic pour. And I'm trying to think if I've got anything else. And then this week, I opened up Heaven Hill, the select stock that Brett DeGrow, who I think is why I saw him earlier. I don't know if he's still here. That he scored from me from up at the distillery. So I'd say those two are the newest. But honestly, Kevin, like I don't drink a lot of whiskey during the summer. It's just too hot. So like if I'm going to drink whiskey during the summer, usually it's a whiskey cocktail. Or at night when I'm inside at night, I might sip on something. But a lot of times during the summer, if we're outside by the pool or whatever, I'm usually just maybe a little tequila with a little, little lime wedge. So, Kirk, Omaha businesses are sad. LSU fans aren't there. So Kirk, we had the guy from Rocco's, the Jello Shot guy on AFR on Wednesday. Because they're doing a really cool thing with the food bank. Even though LSU's not there, they had fans calling to see if they could buy shots for LSU. And so what they did was they essentially just turned it into a fundraiser for the food bank where people can just go buy a shot, right? But really it's just a donation to the food bank. And so anyway, I had him on the show and he was talking about how like whenever LSU was in the regional against North Carolina, he's watching like sweating out the ninth inning, and the other bartenders are like, man, what are you like? Why are you so worried about this one game? And he's like, you don't get it. Like if they're not here, you're all losing thousands of dollars personally in tips and different things like that. So yes, no doubt, man. Brian, Dion and Colorado bandwagons are terrorizing social media. What do you mean? I haven't seen what Dion's been doing. Sorry, I've been out the last 2 days. Reed Rule, excited about the potential with the new pitcher. Isn't it also fair to be worried about the major jump in competition from Mount St. Mary's? Yes, which is why it's also great that he has 2 years. Jaden Burrow, continued prayers for Big Dog Drew. Thank you, man. Appreciate it very much. Mac, watch some highlights of the new kid. Arm is legit. Do you throw 98 when scouts are saying it's a disgusting slider? Yes. Yeah, so Brett asked to Sheeran figure in as a starting pitcher, back-end closer. I mean, you got your closer already. So in Chandler Dorsey, he was South Florida's ace closer, and that's who you're bringing in basically to replace Aiden Moffitt to be your back of the bullpen guy. They thought Aiden Moffitt might develop into that role this year, and it didn't pan out for him. So Chandler Dorsey has been a back end of the bullpen guy, a closer, and a really good one at South Florida. So you went and got your closer. Devin Sheeran's coming here to be a starting pitcher. And if it's this year, if he's in the rotation this year, he's your midweek guy, or if it happens next year, either way, that's why he's here. All right, y'all, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. As always, brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and of course, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Remember, Brock Rock and Wine is coming up on July the 27th. Get your tickets at brortho.com, brortho.com in Tiger Stadium. Live music, food, wine, really great event. Looking forward to being there on July 27th. Mark the date, and we'll see you all there. And of course, you need a roof. Give us a shout. Parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com. Okay, real quick. So we got over 300 watching live. I love that. Thank you so much. I would like to play for you all, if you're good with it, the parish jingle. Now, I think, again, I've fixed this, or I figured out how I can play this for you and you can hear it. So I've tried to play through my soundboard. I've tried to hold up the phone here. I've tried to use Bluetooth. Every time I play through the soundboard, it doesn't work. I think I figured this out because I have a way to play it through StreamYard, which is the streaming software that I use to create the stream and send it to multiple platforms. So I'm going to play so this will be, I think a lot of you have heard it by now because it's on radio, but I'm going to play this for you. I hope it sounds clear. Y'all need to let me know if you can hear it, if it sounds good. Okay. Here we go. The long-awaited and much anticipated parish construction and roofing jingle from Mr. Toby Tomplay.
Parish construction and roofing. At Parish, we got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish construction and roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Okay. I hope you all were able to hear it. It sounds good. Let's go. Mostly, I'm excited that y'all were able to hear it clearly. And I know some of you are going to say, like, blah, 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 whatever. It's a jingle. It's not a concerto. It's an earworm. And there's nobody better than Mr. Toby Tomplay. And I will be willing to bet that throughout the course of this day, many, Kirk said play it again. Many of you will be going, Parish construction and roofing. You'll be singing this in your head all day. All right, one more time, Kirk.
Parish construction and roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish construction and roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
I love it. It's so good. It's a good little ditty. It's a good ditty. Jesse post cheesy, but it will stick, which is what it's supposed to do. Yes, it is an earworm. That's the point. This isn't Abbey Road. Okay. It's not Led Zeppelin #2. It's, this is Toby Tomplay doing the Parish construction and roofing jingle. I just want you to stick it in your brain. That's what I want. All right, let's see. Oh, really? A&M's throwing Lampkin? Wow. Wow. Justin Lampkin starting. They're gonna show you, like, I was out. Well, that may change the way I feel. But the under, I can't believe they're starting Lampkin. Wow. I mean, they must really feel good about their offense against Florida, even without Montgomery. Wow, that's surprising. That is a real risk, man. I mean, there's just no such thing as, like, you can pitch off in the regional round. Super Regionals in Omaha, you go win game one. Wow, that's surprising. Anyway, Kevin, similar to Skeens, we know you play catcher. You think you can pitch? Yep. Timothy, good morning from Florida. Jeff, Club Ruckus. Speaking of Ruckus, I'm going to Ruckus as soon as this show's over. See y'all over there. Gabriella Renninger, you think we'll see more baseball commitments early next week? That's the hope, Gabriella. So if you do this weekend or Monday, then this weekend went well. So just ran through who they got on campus. But the big one, the one you really got to hope you see is Gavin Killen. I've told you, he's number one player in the portal, the shortstop from Louisville. He's a top 15 prospect for next year's draft, any position. He's your plug and play shortstop, replacing Braswell, hitting in the top of your lineup somewhere. He factor in 1, 2, 3, kind of depending on what happens to everybody else, but that's the big one, the really big one. Glenn Laurie, Randy Dabdoob, what happened to Facebook? So we're on Facebook, Randy. So again, long story short, for those who are seeing us, I moved Morning Scone on Facebook from my professional page to my personal profile. So it's long story, but it's essentially how Facebook shows and features things. So I'm trialing this for about 2 weeks. So I'm going to go live on my personal page, not my professional profile where I've been for a long time. I'm going to go live on the page. Even if you're not a friend on my, because you're limited to like 5,000 friends on Facebook, you can still like my personal page or my personal profile because it's in professional mode. I know this is confusing and stupid. So I'm going to go live from the profile and share it to the page. So if you can still go to the same place that you've always gone, and I'll share it there. But you really need to go like or follow or like the profile and set notifications, because that's where I'll be popping up live. Gary, in his defense, horrible O-line deficiencies. Oh, Carr. Are you talking about Kamara? Bo, do you think Jay gets a pay raise, or is he looking for one? He got after the championship last year, he got a 7-year, $12.5 million contract, paying him between 1.7 and 1.8 per year. I think Jay's okay for now. Win another championship, they'll look at it again for sure. Eric finally caught up on the Helmers interview. Third base story was incredible. Have you thought about doing similar player exit interviews with every sport? Yes. Some of them are just tough, Eric. Like we always reach out to every football player at the end of the season that's going into the draft, Senior Bowl, and some of them, because their season just transitions right into combine draft season, it's hard to get a lot of them, and some of them are just not as accessible. Baseball guys, quite honestly, are easier. It's a small team. Some of like Will Helmers might be done playing baseball forever. He's kind of just chilling until the draft. So it's easier. It was easier to get a hold of him. It's easier to get a hold of Milazzo than it is some of the guys who, like, as soon as their season ends, boom, they're in Arizona, California, where at Florida training for the draft, the combine. They got, agents on. It's just different. So, but yes, we always try. You just don't get everybody. Bo, how do you not walk Honeycutt there? Brandon, Matthew, there we go. Is there any chance Jay entertains other coaching jobs? Gabriella, look, I know Jay was asked this week about the Texas job, and he was asked point blank, did Texas contact you? Did they reach out? And he said no. I can absolutely tell you that Texas did reach out. Texas reached out to Schlossnagle, Vitello, Eric Bakich at Clemson, who is the Michigan coach who got them to the World Series finals, and Jay, to gauge interest. I even know they were offering in the neighborhood of $2.5 million a year. And so they aim big. And look, even Schlossnagle, so Chris Del Conte, the AD at Texas, was the AD at TCU who hired Jim Schlossnagle at TCU. So what I was told was Texas wasn't going to do the thing where they fired David Pierce and then began a search. It was going to be like a fire hire type deal. So, what I was told last week is that the 4 guys I just mentioned all told Texas thanks, but no thanks, and that Mark Wazikowski from Oregon was their next target. So if they move on from Pierce, or maybe because they didn't get one of their top 4 guys, they run it back with Pierce. I don't know. I'm not at Texas. I don't cover the team every day, but that's what I was told, is that Mark Wazikowski from Oregon would be the target if they do fire Pierce. But Jay is not going anywhere. Austin Matt had a busy week, didn't follow much news. Jay's comments about Texas seem like not denial. Yep, there you go. I just answered that one. Blake, Parish, NIL deal for Wicker. Let's get it done. I think they got enough pitching now, Blake. Happy to do Parish deals. Happy to do it. Jason H. Morning from the barber shop. What up, Jason? Kevin, wish I had the laser focus Jay has in my professional life. It's crazy. It's true. James Brew, Matt, what do you think about Jay's comments about how to build a roster in the portal era versus skip stays? I'm not sure I heard him, James. Candidly, like being out the past couple of days, I think I probably missed some things. So I'm not sure exactly what he said. But I mean, it is very different. You know, and then when Skip was coaching, there was also no roster limits. Skip could have 50 guys on the roster if he wanted to. And so you didn't have to make decisions about, I mean, yeah, you had to balance 11.7, but then Tops came around and that helped tremendously because you could get guys. And this was after Skip, obviously, with Tops or near the end of Skip. But, you know, you had to manage your 11.7, but kid from Louisiana just wanted to play at LSU and wear the uniform. You could bring him and develop him for 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, a lot of those guys became great stories at LSU that in this era would never have an opportunity to play. You'd have to go to Nichols or McNeese or somewhere like that and then play and then try to transfer back. So it's just different. I'm not saying it's better, worse, right, wrong, up, down, left, right. It's just different. Ryan, rooting for every ACC team to beat the SEC. Completely agree. Let's see. Jesse, Bobby Boucher's lawnmower, odds on Bear. I've told you all along, I think Bear Jones signs. The power is undeniable. The power to all fields. That's what the pros value now. Strikeouts are at an all-time high in Major League Baseball because the analytics show you'll take a 1-for-4 day with 3 strikeouts if the one is a 3-run homer. And so when you have power to all fields like Bear Jones does, there's a premium on that. I think he's a top 3-round guy. Someone's going to pay him $800 to $1 million, and he's going to sign. That's just my opinion. I hope not. I hope he's back, but I think he signs. Aaron, good morning. Go Tigers. Braswell is out. I would assume so, yes. If you get Gavin Killing, Braswell's out. But I think they encourage Braswell to sign either way. Seth, Virginia pitching to Honeycutt is the same as Wake pitching to Tommy last year. DGTRAMA Gaming. Virginia Coast cost the game. You don't pitch to Honeycutt. Yep. Michael Eunice, morning, Matt. Do you know what all the cryptic messaging that Gymnastics has been posting for the last 2 weeks is all about? I haven't seen any of the cryptic posts, like what, on Twitter? That LSU Gymnastics posted about? Let me see. This the champs are calling? Oh, 10 days out. There it is. Interesting. I guess we'll find out today, right? Some's coming today. I don't know. I could ask. I asked Jay Clark. Then again, probably wants everybody to be surprised. Let's see. Vicious. I can't believe UNC. All right. Everybody's talking about UNC and Honeycutt. Okay. I'll try some Rio. Tequila, Topo Chico, and lime. Elijah Steele, how often do you drink beer, Matt? I mean, I love beer. My problem with beer is, for me, when I drink a beer, it's never a beer. A beer is 10 beers. You know, when I'm drinking something that's, and I like craft beer too, but like if I'm just drinking like Bud Light, for example, and Bud Light's a great sponsor, and that is, if I was going to drink a light beer, that would be my preference. I have never liked Coors Light. Miller Lite's okay, I guess. I know some people prefer it. I'm not even a huge Ultra fan. I know that's a Mockler product. Like if I was going to drink a light beer, I would get Bud Light. But I can never just sit and drink. I'll give you an example. Last night we got back from Houston, not from Houston, excuse me, from Florida, and we put Drew to bed. And Eric and I stayed up and watched Buying London. We're trying new real estate shows. I think I mentioned that to y'all yesterday. And I sat there and probably drank about 3 Bud Lights while we watched the show. And I ate some Sun Chips. You know, I love beer. The hard thing for me with beer is like if I at 4%, I gotta drink a lot of beer. And so it's just like I continuously drinking. I'll drink like 10 beers. Maybe not 10, but you know what I mean. No, but I love beer. Like really love beer. One of the reasons I started drinking whiskey is because I drank a lot of beer and was like, this is so many calories. There has to be something better I can do. So like that's why, hey, look, here's an ounce of whiskey or 2 ounces of whiskey that I could sip for 30 minutes or so, and it's in the same time I'd have 4 beers, right? Can UNC win a game without it being a walk-off? I think it's their time, man. Big money LSU guy sitting right behind him on plate last night. Kirk, where does Guidry fit now? I think in the same role. He's just he's a back of the bullpen guy, maybe a setup guy. Tennessee will beat North Carolina 12-2. UNC hasn't scored more than 12 runs a game in a long time. I don't think Tennessee has the pitching, man. I think that's going to be the biggest. I'm telling you, it's going to be Tennessee's bugaboo. Perfect. I'll give you all some breaking news in a second. Jordan Gilbert on AFR Thursday at 4:30. How about that? I'm excited about him, man. I think you know, we the more I've looked at Blake Baker's defense, you can look at how impactful the safeties are. We think linebacker because he's a linebacker coach, but I think when you go look at his, and I did a segment on this on AFR maybe 2 weeks ago or so. It was an like impactful transfer thing I saw, and I went and started looking in. And listen, we may be more excited about guys like CJ Daniels or Xavion Thomas because they're offensive players, or the need for some of those interior defensive linemen to be really good players. So, I mean, I get why there's other guys people might be more excited about, but if you go look at Blake Baker's defenses at Missouri, like the leading tacklers each of his last 2 years were safeties. And it makes a lot of sense that you're going to get guys around the ball and free them up to make plays. And you needed a dramatic improvement from a year ago where you had Andre Sam and Major Burns. Burns playing in the star position, I think suits him better downhill near the line, take him out of coverage. And if you got Jordan Gilbert, maybe Sage Ryan back at your safety positions, I think that's a natural position for Sage Ryan, and Jordan Gilbert is a proven SEC safety. So I think that's a big get, man. Anyway, so Jordan Gilbert's going to be on with us at 4:30. So we kind of connected, and seems like a good kid, man. Seems like a really good dude. Okay. Oh, man. Sorry. All right. I'm focusing. My apologies. Anyway, that was Jordan replying about what time we're coming on. So all good. So I'm looking forward to that convo. Bubba Smith, Cortland, Ryan Pike. You're telling me I got to cash out my bet. Ooh. Now roll with it, man. I still think, listen, the public still favors overs. You're talking about the College World Series. Public still favors overs. I think there's value in the unders. I love the under. And even look, North Carolina and Virginia, if you looked at their regular season series, they played like a 14-10 game, like a 12-11 game. And I loved the under in that matchup. And I still like the under. I don't think Florida is going to hit today against A&M, but I thought they were going against Prager. So I would probably still keep it. I'd take the under. Murder Giraffe. Jason, you head to Ruckus to grab the Jordan 1s. I am. The denim Jordan 1s. Terrio was there. Candidly, Terrio was there last week, sent me a picture of them, and I was like, get them for me now. And I guess it was before they officially released him, and he had already left before he got my text. And so they're opening at 10, and I want to go run over there and snag them. So I'm a 13, and like there usually aren't a lot of 13s, and so they go quickly. So anyway, Kirk reminds me of the old time commercials from the 90s. Really personal. I can see the riot greeting you at the door. Can never count on Florida State to win in Omaha. That's true. Why does it seem like Tennessee gets so much rope? That tantrum down third baseline didn't even get a reaction, let alone warning. And Tony was pitching fits all night. Been a few weeks, but the host of WWL's Friday High School football show passed away after battle with cancer. R.I.P. Brad Lumine. Very sorry to hear that, man. Thanks for sharing that, Peter. Yeah, definitely condolences to Brad and his family. I don't know Brad, but condolences to him and his family for sure. Gary, you can never have enough pitching. So true. LSU had a ton of pitching this year. Do you think Trevor Lawrence is worth the new contract? Yes. You have to have a quarterback. He's shown he can be great. Shelby, I don't want Tennessee to have any success, but I love watching good talent. Christian Moore is a darn good talent. He is. Caleb, morning, Matt. I like the addition so far. Can't wait to find out about Root from ECU as well as, Louisville shortstop, Gavin Killen. Gulf South, with the newer quarterback contracts, Carr doesn't look that bad anymore. Old Sunshine getting 5-year, $55 million per is crazy. It's just, that's the going rate. And when you look at Lawrence, I mean, I don't think Trevor Lawrence getting that is crazy. I mean, you have to remember, he was drafted by a team that was picking first overall because they were atrocious. Not everybody that goes 1 overall is in the Super Bowl in year 2 like Burrow. So you look at it like this and you go, okay, you draft Trevor Lawrence. He's 3 years into his career, right? This would be year 4. So you draft Trevor Lawrence and he gets you into the playoffs in his second year. First year, you're terrible. You're 3-14, right? Get you to the playoffs, has a 4,000-yard season, gets you into the playoffs, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. We're all like, okay, that's the dude we expected. Year 3, he missed a game, but they went 8-8 with him as the starter. So similar to the year before when they were 9-8, made the playoffs, but you go 8-8 with Lawrence. He throws for 4,000 yards again, 21 touchdowns. The interceptions ticked up. It went from 8 to 14, so that was a problem. But he's been consistent. He's been consistent the last 2 years, and so you're asking yourself this question. It's similar to when the Phillies paid Aaron Nola. They gave him $100 million early because they knew if you waited another 2 years at the end of his contract, he's a free agent, you probably triple that number. And if you're Nola, you go, okay, well, I could take the bird in hand now, or do I keep pitching for 2 more years? Then what if I decline? What if I blow out? Anything. And so then you don't get that. Plus also, when you sign the contract early, it gives you an opportunity to sign another big deal, right? So that's the thing for Lawrence. Lawrence could have played this year. Like, he could have played out this season. He could have said, hold on, I'm going to wait. Revenue's going to go up. There's some other quarterback that's going to come reset the market. So I could wait another year and then sign my extension after this season. Let's say I go have a 4,500 yard season and we go 10-7, and then you have to pay me after this season. Well, the number went up. But if you're Lawrence right now, you say, I take the bird in hand now. And then when this contract ends, I'm going to get another contract after that as well. So if you're Jacksonville, you say, okay, well, we're balancing that risk. Do we pay him now according to the market, or do we wait another year when the market's gone up even higher? Do we think that he'll continue to be our franchise guy? And I get it. Like, you drafted him 1 overall. He's shown you he can get to the playoffs. He's shown you he can be an elite quarterback. So it's always a calculated risk. I mean, every contract is a calculated risk when you're giving a long-term deal. But in the NFL, the way you structure it as well, how much guaranteed money is in there matters. So I have no problem with that whatsoever. I wish the Saints had an opportunity to sign a guy like Trevor Lawrence. Adam Parker, yeah, Carr's deal is atrocious. Because here's the difference. You had this is the point I haven't continued to make about Carr. You had a 10-year sample size of evidence to show you what Derek Carr is. And he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's not. He's not an MVP player. He's not. You had 10 years of evidence to show that. With Trevor Lawrence, you have a guy that's 23, 24 years old, who's 3 years into his career and got you from the number 1 pick to like going 3-14 as a rookie to the playoffs in year 2. Like, I get it. Like, the arrow could be like the ceiling is very high with Trevor Lawrence. Like, you know what the ceiling is with Derek Carr. And it ain't that. Especially at this point in his career. Does Florida make a run in Omaha? I do not believe so, Travis. Cortland not putting a ton of expectations on the football season. I want to see the direction they're heading. Let's see. Raymond has both DBs and safeties, or did Baker split them up again? They are split. So Raymond's coaching corners, and Jake Olson, I know it's going to be Jake Olson, came over with Blake Baker from Missouri. He's coaching the safeties. Mark Allen, if successful, who gets a head coaching job first, Sloan or Baker? I'd say Baker, just because he's been a DC already at the SEC level. But I do know Sloan wants to be a head coach. Like, I know that for a fact. And that's, I don't think that's breaking news or anything. I mean, most coaches want to be a head coach. They want that opportunity to run their program, but I know Joe wants that. So, and he'll get there. He'll have a ton of talent. He's a smart guy, a really good quarterbacks coach as well, as you've seen. And I think the offenses will succeed. And I think he'll get that opportunity. I think the question is, do you go from OC at LSU to like UTSA, or are you like Dave Aranda going to Baylor? I think that's really the question. Robert Potts, Matt just joining. What's the transfer update? So LSU got a commitment. LSU got a commitment Friday night from Devin Sheeran, a pitcher from Mount St. Mary's. Hi, what are you doing? You want to come say hi, Dad Show? Hey, come say hi to Dad Show. Come say. Oh, somebody just waking up, huh?
Good morning, Dad.
Look at my little boy.
Good morning, Dad. Hi.
Hi, Dad Show.
Good morning, Dad.
Are you just waking up? Yeah. Are you a sleepyhead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what are we doing today? Huh? What are we going to do today? Where Daddy and Drew going? Where are we going? To ride what? To ride what? Huh? What are you doing? Elevators. Where are we going to do that?
Nice work.
Good job. Okay, I know you want to go. Okay, go watch your videos. All right. I love you. Now videos. Okay. Drew. All right, please smash the like button if you would. YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, or follow the profile, or whatever we say now, and share the post. We appreciate y'all as always. Remember Brock Rock and Wine, July 27th. You need a roof, give us a shot at Parish. Yeah, so Robert, anyway, Devin Sheeran, Righty just finished up his freshman season at Mount St. Mary's, hit a huge growth spurt, was sort of an unrated prospect as a third baseman, went to Mount St. Mary's. He's now 6'5", 245, 98 from the right side, wicked slider, tons of strikeout stuff, got 2 years. So even if he doesn't factor into the rotation in 2025, he's back in 2026. So really, really good get there. Care. Check the weather. Is the wind blowing in or out? That's true. In Omaha, that is true. Fish, what's good, man? Cortland, you can go from OC at LSU to head coach in the Big 12. Abner Neal, morning, Matt. So glad all is well. Drew's checkup. Thank you, Abner. We appreciate it. I think we're at the end of the show. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. I will have some news tomorrow on Morning Scone. Something that I'm very excited about. Not like a giant change or anything, but something I am very excited about. So y'all be here tomorrow. Remind me I have my news for you tomorrow, and I'll share it then. Okay, thanks for being here. Y'all have an amazing Saturday.